Hey guys, welcome back to another Unbiased Magic Review. I hope you're having a good week. I'm ready to bring you another Unbiased Magic Review. And tonight I'm going to be reviewing for you a new Mentalism product that came out last month by Chris Jones and 13 Souls. And this is called PropNess. Here's what the trailer looks like.
So I suppose we should really start by asking you, what is this?
Right, yeah. Well, I've called it PropNess.
Well, PropNess with an N.
PropNess.
Like November.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're looking for propless mentalism, I've studied quite a lot and I've tried to find some decent pieces. And that's kind of a bit like hunting for the Loch Ness monster. But I think, no, don't laugh. I think I've captured the beast. And hence PropNess.
Okay.
I'm serious.
That sounded a little bit dodgy than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, but essentially, all it is a way to, you can find a playing card that somebody's thinking of or a word from pretty much any category.
So it's basically a system of being a divine, like.
Absolutely.
With accuracy, try to get what.
Absolutely, yeah. And with certainty, you will get the name, the word, or the playing card, or both.
So this could be from any kind. They
can choose the category. Yeah. Absolutely.
So if you have actually got this system, then it could be actually finding the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Okay, so after watching a trailer, you may still be confused as to what this mental product is about. So, in a nutshell, this is a mentalism product that's designed to be performed pretty much one-on-one, where you have your spectator think of a card and then you're going to reveal it to them. Okay, so that's really what this product is really about. And so a little background. Chris Jones is actually one of the cameramen for 13 Souls, and it looks like this is his first product. So the cost of this is about $25, and for $25 you're going to get a PDF with detailed instructions on how to perform it, where it outlines the method, as well as some video instruction, which is about 35 minutes altogether, where you're going to actually see some real performances there. And then you have Chris Jones talking with a host, and they just talk about the effect. So let's go over a couple other simple things you may be wondering about. How hard is it to perform this? It's not hard at all, although it does require a small amount of memory work, and you probably will have to practice it a little bit to perform it. And how surefire is this? It pretty much is pretty surefire, although there is a possibility that you could kind of come off the track and get something wrong. It's possible, I guess, because there is an element of a controlled force in there, but it's possible that could go wrong. So that's something that somebody may think about. Let's go over the advertisement, and because I had some issues with the advertisement. And of course, as you could see from the trailer, they don't really show you any real performance, and that's pretty standard nowadays with a lot of mentalism products, that they don't actually offer you any real performance footage because they don't want you to figure out the method on your own. That's the main reason. So in the advertisement on their site, they advertise that, of course, the main thing is they advertise that this is propless, that you're not using any props. And I would argue that that's a lie, and that is really disappointing. That's a pretty big deception right from the get-go, because the name of the product is called PropNess, with the idea that you don't use any props, but actually you do, because you're using business cards. Even the PDF describes having a deck of cards with a certain card face up. So to me, that says you're using props. I mean, we all know, anyone who does any mentalism, that billets and a writing instrument are the props of a mentalist. So if you're using business cards and a writing instrument, those are the props you're using. In my own mind, a real propless mental effect would be, for example, if I have you think of your star sign and then I just start mentally telling you details about your star sign, and then I reveal it to you. That's propless because we didn't use any props. We just used our minds, you see. But this effect, unfortunately, it uses, for the most part, age-old principles. There is maybe a small amount of it which may seem kind of original, but it just unfortunately falls kind of flat. So let's just talk about the actual premise of the effect. The premise of the effect is that a person thinks of a card and you reveal it to them. Now, unfortunately, you jump through lots of hoops to get to that. And there's such a simpler way to do that. If you have like a Kennedy Mind Power deck, or if you have like an Australian Radar deck, then you could do it in 2 seconds. And literally that's a lot more prop-less than this, because you show somebody a deck of cards and you have them think of a card, you put the cards away. And now you really are just prop-less. With this method of this effect, you're writing stuff down on business cards, and there's a lot of, you're having them think of different things, and you know, you have like a controlled force and whatnot. And so there's a lot going on there, all for you to reveal a piece of information that has no emotional attachment to the person. So it seems kind of weak to me. Getting back to the advertisement, the other things that are advertised there is they say that, and this is directly from their site, they say audience member can think of a word, a name, a playing card, a country, a color. In fact, they can choose the category of their choice and you will know what they're thinking of. So that sounds like they can almost think of anything and you're going to know it. And the reality is that's actually misleading, because that's not true at all. I mean, they can pretty much come up with a category on their own, but what they actually think of is controlled by you. So that's not exactly true. They also advertise no memory work required. That's a lie, totally right there. Because there is memory work required, because the method of the effect is a stepwise method. I'm not trying to reveal anything, but any of you who know anything about mentalism will know what I'm talking about. So it's not a large amount. So the amount that you actually have to remember is a small amount, but you do have to remember some stuff, because if you don't, you'll fall flat. In fact, you probably will need to rehearse this a few times and practice a little bit before you can actually really go and perform it. The next thing that they advertise is they say no weird process. I would argue that it is a weird process overall, because it is not straightforward. You don't just have them think of a playing card and then you reveal it. That would be straightforward. So there is a sort of roundabout process that's involved. I thought that was a little weird. Maybe they don't. They also write no ambiguity. The whole process is ambiguous. And in fact, there's phishing involved. And he even writes that word in his PDF, phishing, and they talk about it. So, I mean, there is ambiguity, obviously. So I would tell you guys that the advertisement for the effect is totally misleading, unfortunately, and maybe at this point you've become numb to that, because that pretty much is most mental effects nowadays. You can't trust what the advertising says. So it is what it is, right? The other thing about that that you might want to think about is that the whole process of this, it relies a lot on getting the person to think of what you want them to think of and then getting ahead of them. So any of you who know things about mentalism will know what I'm talking about, and unfortunately there's so many other better ways to do something similar to this that I would say it's probably best to just avoid this product altogether. Once I saw that the main way of using this was to get ahead of your spectator, I thought, well, I guess there is nothing new under the sun, because this is age-old principles being used again and again. And in fact, if you want to go down that road, I would highly recommend instead you just learn a good billet switch and just use that instead. And then you can have them think of anything you want. You can have them think of something that's relevant to them. Maybe something they've been thinking about, wondering about, a question they have that means something to them emotionally. That just seems like such a better thing to go over than to just have them think of a random playing card. I mean, just have them think of a random playing card. There's so many other better products out there for doing that exact thing. So I don't think that this is the type of product that I would put a lot of emphasis in for that. Now, how is the teaching on the video? I'm going to tell you guys, unfortunately, it's very lacking, because on the video, Chris Jones continually just tells you, just check the PDF. Oh, well, you'll see in the PDF. Oh, because his host keeps trying to get him to explain the process, the method, how to actually perform it. And he'll start to explain it, and then he himself seems to get confused and just constantly says, well, you'll see in the PDF. Well, if you check out the PDF, you'll see it's all explained there. It's really simple. It makes sense there. Meaning that he himself can't even put it into words himself, which is really sad, because it's actually your product. You should be able to explain it. And the funny part is that the host who's with him just seems to ignore that and just continues to go forward. Say, okay, well, how about in this situation? He just completely just ignores what he's saying, because I think he realizes that, you have to explain it. And even though the PDF is well, it's well written and you can understand it well, I mean, I had to read it a couple of times because, it kind of jumps around, and so that way it's not as clear as you may think. And when you're learning something like this from just text, it's not as easy as when it's explained. So, I mean, when you read that a couple of times and you watch the performances, you start to get the idea of exactly what's going on and how it's done. So, is it really worth 25 bucks? I would say no. I would say that it's probably worth $5 overall. That's what I really think. And would I buy it again? Definitely not. I don't think so. And should you buy this? I'll tell you, no, do not. It's not worth your money. And that's pretty much, I think, everything that I want to touch on this product. Again, like I was telling you guys, I think that when you get into billet work, mentalism with things like index cards or business cards, I think that you need to have a certain amount of ability to just do some billet switches, and you could just do so much more than what you're going to find on here. So I hope that you guys found this review useful, and I look forward to hearing any feedback from you guys. If you have any questions about the product, just let me know and I'll try to answer you.